All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, man, this show is for you. And ladies too, I'm not gonna leave y'all out, but man, as you can see, I have a panel of, fellow gentlemen here, and they're here to talk about their platform. And basically, we're just going to ask the question, are you mature enough? Period. Are you mature enough? Okay? Because let's just keep it real, people. Sometimes we think we got it going on. Look, I can tell you stuff when I was in my 30s. I felt that, I was on top of my game. Now that I'm a little bit older, I look back on that. I wasn't on top of my game. You know what I'm saying? We have to ask ourselves, are we mature enough? So, which is the title of the podcast. Y'all see how I just threw that
I like how, I see what you did there.
Anyway, so joining me tonight, man, you all know him. He's been a former guest on the show. Please give it up for Mr. Wes Watkins.
What's up? What's going on?
How you doing, sir?
Good to be back. I'm good, man. I'm great. How about you?
Oh, man, it's great. And it's great to have you back, And, man, we're going to keep it moving right up the line. Mr. Eric Lowry, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. I'm good. Hoping all is well on your side of town, too, man.
Yes. Appreciate it.
Oh,
and last but not least, batting cleanup. We got Marty, the groomer, Hernell. What's going on,
sir.
Bro?
How you doing, sir?
All right,
hey,
come on, man.
I'm in the middle of a commute right now, so.
Right. Come on now. You're going to get us all home today. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. But, fellas, so are you mature enough? That's the name of your podcast. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is co-parenting. And I know that's something that I know we all can, pretty much, talk about, especially from a man's perspective. And, but before we even get into the subject matter, let's just talk about the podcast itself. So, Wes, I'm going to start with you. Like, how did all this come together?
So it actually came from me and my son's mother, Dee. We're actually been in the process now for the last almost year writing a book called Are You Mature Enough to Co-Parent? Because me and her, we went through everything. We went through the court, we went through the relationship parts, the whole F you, I hate you. And to be in the place that we're in now, like, that's really like my friend. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, man, we've been through so much that people go through that people don't like to talk about or discuss. And especially as men, so I was like, yo, I had this idea last year. I said, man, I want to write this book with you. Explain everything to her. She like, I'm down. So she started coming to the crib. Me and her, next thing you know, we're writing a book. We're almost finished. But then around October, I had the idea. I said, man, what if I turn this into a show? And because I was just like, again, it's uncomfortable conversations that we need to have.
Oh, yeah.
And so, my first episode, Dorian, he's my barber. So, I was telling him about it. So he's like, man, you can use my spot to do it. I'm like, cool. And so I was like, man, I want to have you as a guest on the show. So, I'm like, man, he was like, cool, I'll be on it. Then I reached out to my man, Eve, right here. Like, I want you to be a guest. He was kind of unsure at first, you know what I'm saying? And then, and the funny thing was, when we did it, the conversation that came out of the first episode, and I had also Wade the Barber on the first episode, but I was like, man, it kind of turned into, yo, I need y'all to co-host this with me, because all three of us have different angles of co-parenting to come from. And so the conversation, the things that Dorian was saying, some certain things I didn't look at from the co-parent. He's coming from the stepfather side. He's coming from being married and having the co-parent. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So it was like the conversation we had even off the camera. I said, dog, like, so I asked them both after that, like, literally, I think it was like probably like that same night or like the next day. I hit them both up. I said, yo, I like, would y'all be down to do the show with me? Like, they like, hell yeah, let's do it. And you know, when we had our first meeting, man, and for real, like, I love my guys like dearly, man, because the nuggets they drop from their certain situations and mine, and that we get to do together. We have our meetings. They get to speak on things that I didn't think of, and I'm like, oh shoot, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just the conversation and the things that come out of what we discuss, man, it's just amazing. So, you know, that's how the show got started, man. I think right now we're what, 4 episodes down. So we about to get ready to shoot the 5th one in like another week or 2.
Okay.
So
Well, man, look here. I'm gonna pass it on down to the residential unlicensed psychologist, aka Garba, you know, Dorian the Guru Burnell. Because let's just I mean, man, if you a brother, you know what I'm saying? You know, you go to the shop, the shop where we talk. Man, look here.
Yes. Yeah.
I like to call it the real men's auxiliary board, not the one at the barbershop. It's the real auxiliary board, man. Because what's in here, I mean, what goes on in here stays in here.
Stays in. Yep.
And pretty much, Wes, as you said, you get perspective that you normally wouldn't have. So, I mean, man, like, Dorian, like, talk to me about your expertise and your experience and your involvement in this podcast as well.
Okay. Like I have a unique position in this whole situation because for one, being a barber, I hear every single story from the ups, the downs, guys coming in the shop shedding tears, like going through all of the bull that all I can do is feel sorry for them. You know what I'm saying? And I always hear the courts are against us from day one. Mm-hmm. They have no dog in the fight. Like, and I know guys that got 10 kids, not paying a dime, not even worrying about the kids. I know guys that have 1 and are pleading to be with their child, and the mom is holding the child hostage. You know what I'm saying? I see it all. And my personal experience is I don't have kids. I've always been the step parent though. Mm-hmm. I've been the father having to be that outside guy where dad is looking at me funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna be the one that's looking out for my child? Or I might not want you around, but at the end of the day, we should have this common thing for the child because the child is what's at hand here. You know what I'm saying? So I hear the mom saying XYZ about the dad. I'm not in that relationship with them, but I'm the one that got to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing it from a different perspective where someone might say, well, how can you say anything about co-parent? Oh no, I'm involved. I'm involved more than any other person probably could be involved. You know what I'm saying? So even though I don't have a kid, trust me, I'm around kids. I've been around kids. I've been asked to be the father of kids that are not mine. I've been asked to adopt kids. You know what I'm saying? So I'm neutral, but trust and believe, I see it all. And trust me, I can swing this bat with just like any one of these good fathers up here. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about bashing the women.
Right.
Because it's about straddling the fence and making it right. You know what I'm saying? All the way around. Because the child is the one that's suffering at the end of the day.
Come on. Right. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Hey, and see, that's why he batting cleanup, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just let him do a little place right there. You know what I'm saying? Just
no
y'all, you know. But just letting y'all know he's gonna be batting cleanup pretty much. Just letting y'all know that. All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
Eric, come on, man. Talk to me, man. Talk to me about your perspective and your experience and what you bring to the podcast.
So for me, the podcast started off as being more like a learning session for me because of what I was going through. So when Wes reached out to me about it, that's kind of why I was hugging the line a little bit and hesitant about it, because I knew what I was going through, being married, having a child outside of the household. It's a lot going on, but I will say that this podcast has helped me tremendously, man. Like within the last few days, literally. So this joint is an up and up, man, and I can appreciate it myself. Like even when I sit and watch the joints with my wife, man, we lay in bed and watch the episodes together, and to see her tuned in, it's crazy. So yeah, we definitely cooking with grease over here, baby. Cooking.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get off that soapbox. I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. But anyway, but no. So look, I'm just gonna keep it real. As a black man, as a father, you know, and as a person who has gone through the courts, you know, I can look at every one of your perspectives and I can put myself in that place. There's thousands of men out here like myself who can put themselves in that place. Right. But at the end of the day, every one of you have said the same thing. It's about the perspective and it's about the child. Okay. It's about like, man. And I mean, what? Eric, you just said it, man. Just as of like a couple of days ago, you know, this helped you out just a couple of days ago. Just, man, probably a situation arise, man. Okay, you know what? Yeah, you know what we just talked about? Okay, man, let me apply what I talked about that to this situation. Let's see what happens. So when we talk about are you mature enough, and then we talk about co-parenting, and let's just keep it real, you know, fellas, man, look, Wes, you said it best. You've gone through it all. I've gone through it all. Man, look here, the FUs, the this, that, and the other. I'm taking you to court. It's this and the other. You know, Dorian, man, you've given the other side of the perspective. It's dudes out here with kids, 10, 12 kids, ain't paying a dime. It's dudes out here with one kid, man, getting taken through the racks. You know, and then some, you know. Right. So, and, you know, man, Eric, you speak from, okay, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, this helped me out. Me and my girl sitting up in a, you know, bed watching, studying film. Yeah. She's getting perspective.
Right.
You know, I mean, let's just keep it real. She's studying film, man. She's getting perspective because you know what? This is going to make her better. So when her girls come tripping, you know, man, girl, we walked away and blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what?
Yeah. We helping everybody.
Yeah. You know, they're going to start looking at it like Ayana, you know, like, girl, you be trying to not know. You know what I'm saying? But are you mature enough? So when we talk about co-parenting, fellas, I know what it's like. You just had that kid. The relationship ain't really working out with the mom. You know, you don't really know how to really get out of that situation. So fellas, let's just talk about it for a second. Going through that transition. Wes, when you going through that transition, when you just realize, hey, you know what, man? This just ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like we tried to watch this movie as us as a family play out on the screen, but the movie over with, I think it's time to leave the theater. This just ain't gonna work. So how do we make that transition, man, to try to like, okay, like I know it's gonna be the FUs, it's gonna be the hurt feelings because of what you thought was going to be.
And it doesn't end up being that. I think one of the main thing is, again, you have to ask yourself, number one, am I mature enough to handle that? And number two, you have to be in a place where the main thing is the child. So, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, when you're not married and when things don't work out, and especially like in this generation, I feel like we see that more now than we did way back when. You feel what I'm saying? And so you have to be okay with knowing even if it's you don't make the decision, or if it's her that makes the decision, or y'all make it mutually, you have to be okay with knowing that, okay, now I have to get in parent mode. We may not work. Whatever little beef, whatever issues we have, we can deal with that here. But then it's like, do you want peace? Like, the first time I went through it with my son's mom, that was my learning experience. So when I had my daughter, because I have two kids, two different moms, so that's two different people, two different personalities you have to deal with. And so when my baby girl was born, I had to ask myself, okay, you've gone through this before. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to be together. It's okay. You get what I'm saying? I literally just had to condition myself that this is what it is. I accept it. Because at this point in time, I need peace, and I need to make sure I'm doing everything that I can be the father that I need to be. Any and everything else that's going on between me and the mom, I could care less about that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something I think in December, I text my daughter's mom, even my son's mother, like back in the day, I had text her once, probably like a year or two after court, and told her, listen, man, I apologize. I for real apologize. Whatever, if it's something I did that I missed or whatever, I apologize. I need peace, and I need us to be in a good place so that we can sit here and raise our son together. This past December, I did the same thing to my daughter's mother. You know what I'm saying? I literally hit her up, hey, I apologize. I forgive you for certain things you did. Hope you can forgive me for this, that, and the fourth. But I got to be in a good space so that we can handle our business together. Because if we don't, then we're caught. If we got tension, then it's going to be tension with the child. Because a lot of times as parents, we don't give these kids as much credit as we need to. We think that they're not paying attention, or they don't see, or they're little. They paying attention to that. They know, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so my mind is conditioned that I can never be the parent that's helped causing the nonsense that may be going on between us, because we're already in two different households. So you already have that on the kid. The kid is already back and forth. Yes. I can't be another thing on top of that for my child, that now, man, oh man, my parents beefing. Every time my mom and dad see each other, it's something. Because I'm gonna have to take accountability for my own. You feel what I'm saying? So the whole transition, for me, it became easy. It was just a thing of, yo, I'm in parent mode. Anything outside of that, I can't get down with the get down.
Okay, so you just said something very like concrete, very profound. Accountability mode.
Yes. Because,
I mean, look, let's just keep it real. Sometimes it's man. Pride comes before that fall, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I'm just letting you know now. The pride is, man, look, yeah, you gonna meet this ego like maybe 6 months before you meet me. All right. So the person that you gonna meet at the beginning is my ego, because that's just what I'm showing. Man, you may not meet the real me until the situation shows itself for you to meet the real. And then we have a situation. So I'm gonna move it right along to Brother Aaron. So, man, talk to me about your perspective, because as you said, you and your girl, you're sitting down, you're watching, you know what I'm saying? You're studying, you're like gaining perspective. Some of these things have helped you with like in the past like week or so. How can you, get your like partner, to gain a perspective of, hey, you know what? These kids need they need both parents. They don't need one parent. They need both parents.
Yeah. So for me, man, I know my wife was already on the same page. We're making sure that everybody knew and had the relationship with us, both parents. But I know, like, what's today? What was that, Monday?
Thursday.
I think it was Monday. My daughter's mom literally called me and apologized for everything, as far as shutting me out. And I know I didn't do anything. So my thing is, like Wes just said, I'm huge on peace, man. So before I sit and argue with you, beef with you, go back and forth, my main thing is I'm gonna protect my peace. So for me, like I said, this joint, that's why it's helping me, man, because even to get that from her, it's like, wow. Especially after episode 2, I think it was, when I literally, when we really, I was vocal a little bit. Yeah. So to have my mindset in episode 2, and then now to get this call for episode 5 that we about to shoot. Oh man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a blessing for real. It's crazy. I just want to be a dad, bro. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what it is at the end of the day. And I think we all can attest to that. I just want to be a dad at the end of the day. I don't want all this. Man, I don't want to jump through these hoops. I don't want to fight. I don't want to beef. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to do all these other things. I just want to see my kid. That's it.
That's it. That's simple.
And Dorian, I'm gonna bring it over to you, because as you said, you hear it all. Okay, you hear it all. All right, you got kids, man. They want you to be their dad. All right, and to me, man, that's just like a huge honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no biological ties to this child, to this person at all, but the fact that they think enough of me to want to be around me enough to like help raise them and culture them. Like
it's a gift and a curse.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So you know, the gift is like you just said. You know, it can be an honorable feeling of someone that you didn't help create wants you to be a part of their life forever. You know, using the title dad, using, you know, going through the motions of whatever the biological father should be there for. But the curse can be, all right, imagine yourself in this situation. You reaching out to the biological father saying, hey, all she wanted to know is why you won't deal with her. Like, not even the mom. You being the step, you contacting the biological father and asking him, from the daughter's view, you asking him, hey bro, she just want to know why you don't want to deal with her. That's all she wants. You get what I'm saying? So now the daughter, the little girl, is gonna look at me, asking me, why don't he want to deal with me?
Oof. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. There's no school for this.
No.
So now, I gotta be the. You know, I gotta be, first of all, the human that I am, and be compassionate for this child, because that's what it's all about right now. When on the other side of me is like, can't believe this nigga don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
how can you have a child out here and you don't want to deal with them when the mom is not giving you any grief about it?
Yeah.
But I got to be the one to reach out. You know, that's a whole different topic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different ballgame. But when it comes to me, and like I said, like I've been a youth coach all my life. My mom was a school teacher, so I guess that's where it comes from. And I'm realizing, you know, at a certain age, when it got to the point where I knew I wasn't going to have any, it was like, all right, now, it just wasn't in my cards. But I'm thinking if I did have kids, I wouldn't be able to have the impact on the kids that I do deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, and I can hold my chest out for that. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's a thin line as from being that step parent where you're Superman as long as you can provide. But when it comes to the disciplinary part, that's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? Cause that's when the biological want to step in and say, all right, you better not do this, do that, and third. But hold up, bro.
You ain't best.
You didn't have anything to do with. So it's a slippery slope, but I'm here for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So no. Man, look here. Since we at the tipping point, all right, you know what I'm saying? They can go either way now. Let's just keep it, man. Look here. We don't have I have no professionals on tonight. I have no clinicians or nothing like that. Man, gentlemen, this is the real and raw. Okay, so perspective you are getting are from everyday people like you and myself. So, man, some of the stuff you're about to hear, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's good.
All right, so look here. Let's just keep it real. Now, we do have people like that. We have men and women. I'm not just going to put it on one side.
That's
right.
Yep.
Man, we have men and women like this, okay? They want nothing to do with you nor the child. But the second you're with someone, now it's like, I don't want that person around my kids. I don't want this person, you know, man, look here. You better be over here at X, Y, and Z time to get your kid, not 1 minute less, and this, that, and the other. And I'm gonna drop this on you. So look here, Dorian, man, I know you brought it up earlier about, you know, certain brothers out here, they may have like a whole tribe of kids, ain't paying.
Right.
Okay? My thing is, which one is worse? The threat of, you know, having something happen to you, or just going through the courts and dealing with the courts? because sometimes I feel like when they hold child support over you, well, I'm gonna take you to the court, I'm gonna take you to the court, I'm gonna take you to the court. Now that's sort of your like, okay, you like, man, you out here whipping me to get me right now. So, you know, I don't have to, you know, do this and the other to do what you say. Or you got some brothers on the other end, like, you know what the hell, would it go ahead and take me through child support, man?
Exactly.
I deal with that than deal with this bullshit I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Right. You know, yeah. That we discussed that on episode 1 where, you know, like it's almost like
we discussed it on the ladies episode too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I personally think that the whole, you know, when women use court as backup, as the ammunition, you know, I'm gonna take them up because they know men can be out here handling their business. The last thing they want to deal with is a court situation. But a lot of it, I think personally, it comes from spitefulness, where just because they're not getting along as the adults, however, whichever order it goes, whether if the lady, you know, has the child and she's like, well, you know what, I can't get no attention from him. I know how I can't get attention from him. Let me file these papers. You know what I'm saying? When all he wants, I think the maturity comes from if we become peacemakers instead of peace seekers. If we are peacemakers, then no matter what happens, we're gonna do what you got to do. And like how Wes stated in the first episode, be patient with everything. It's gonna take a lot. You just got to be patient with everything, because like Eric said, you don't want to disturb your peace. You got people out here, women and men, that are out here to wreak havoc, no matter how they do it. So they can say, I did this, I did that, I did this. But no, if we are peacemakers, no matter what it is, and if you can maintain and hopefully maintain that positive impact on that child, because at the end of the day, they're going to see what it really is later on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The child is going to see later on, you know, one way or another. Then if we can be the peacemakers, that maturity level automatically sits in. And, you know, I think as us being resources, these young parents got to see this and know that a lot of immaturity comes at a young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
everybody said they think when they were younger.
So okay, Eric, let me ask you. Okay, man, we got a young brother out here now. You know, man, he's going through it. You know, he and, you know, the young lady, the relationship didn't work out. We pretty much going through it, man. We know how young love can be. Threats, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm popping up on you, you popping up on me. There may be a fight. You know, we may have ourselves a blue face situation here and there, you know. You know, yeah. But man, you know, stuff happens. Right. But when we talk about being peacemakers and being patient, what's like pretty much in like your words, if you were advising like a young 20, 21-year-old out here who, man, look here, the relationship didn't work out, what would be your like words of encouragement to them towards, you know, maintaining and building your peace?
First, I would ask them why. Like, why, little homie? Why be bitter and maintain that bitterness when you know you got this kid right here? How's your bitterness going to help this kid at the end of the day? You need to talk to her. When's the last time y'all had a conversation, man? Like, outside of what y'all had before, when's the last time y'all real life had a conversation? Y'all need to talk, man. Grow up, man up, talk, bro. Get out your feelings for a minute, and let's think about the kid, man. Simple, real simple.
It's hard to get out them feelings though, man. Look here, I'm 20, I'm 21. Man, you know, it don't take me much to get charged. Man, all you gotta do is say one thing.
Right.
But see, I'm gonna tell you the one thing, and this is just me. I changed my way of thinking when it comes to that, because everything we do is a choice. So it's not that you can't get out your feelings. And I had to, and this is what I went through with my son, because by the time my son was born, she had started dating another dude at the time. And it wasn't that I couldn't get out my feelings. I didn't want to, because I was so pissed. You get what I'm saying? And so like he said, like a lot, we realized like me cussing at you doesn't change my situation.
Not helping.
Me fussing at you don't change the situation. Me not talking to you doesn't change it. It actually makes it worse.
Right.
So what is the point of me staying in my feelings, being mad, being huffy puffy, F you and this, that, and the fourth? What does it do? It does nothing.
At all. And my main thing, man, is everything. The dust always settles, bro. So I know for me, during the summertime, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, I randomly got a text from my daughter's mom threatening to take me to court and all that. Just mad. This text was goddamn novel. Okay. I read it a couple hours later, bro, and just said, do whatever you feel is necessary. And I was still able to maintain my peace. And now you figure 6 months later, now she hitting me apologizing for everything. Even that right there, right? So my thing is, if I would have reacted a whole different way, let's say I reacted like I really wanted to, we wouldn't be where we are now, bro.
At all.
The dust always settles, bro. Trust me. Everything always works out. And
that's what these... my bad, dude. I'm sorry. I just had to say
no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
But that's what a lot of these younger moms and dads, these kids coming up now that's having kids, that's what they got to understand. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? All that, it's going to do nothing for your situation. It's really going to leave you stuck. Because when you stay in that place, you get a negative mindset, because now all you're doing is spewing out negativity. So now, because all you're doing is spewing out negativity, guess what?
Circle changes.
It becomes your identity. So because it becomes your identity, now you're toxic. Now you're always saying this. And so when you're a negative person dealing with a person who wants peace, now guess what you're doing? You arguing with yourself.
Yeah, right.
I can't believe that nigga. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna be able to see the kid for 5 days. All right, cool.
Right.
Have a great day. I'm gonna take this vacation. I'm gonna go ahead and you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, keep my peace,
your patience builds up. You know? My bad, D. Go ahead.
No, you good. Now, I think when we're speaking about the younger generation, when we were all younger, it was different. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids, these young folks now, they don't know how to communicate. First of all, that's first and foremost.
This how they communicate.
A lot of through the phone, and not realizing that can be held against them more than anything. You know what I'm saying? So you can get on this little rant and hide behind the send button, but then they can pull it back up, and then you're trapped that way. Then I think, as a younger, if I were to see a younger guy go through it, I would have to personally try to either take them under my wing or ship them to one of you two. Because being that you guys went through it, y'all can be a positive messenger in his ear that he can soak it up, because he 9 times out of 10 don't have that circle around him to keep him sane.
Yep. Right.
They're always influenced by the negativity, by the blue face, by all this crazy stuff that's going on, and they think that's how it's supposed to rock. 5 or 10 years later, then they're going to be talking about what we're talking about now. Man, 10 years ago, I shouldn't even have done X, Y, Z. But I think if you can take care of it early,
yep,
be on both sides. But the men, the one that always have that negative, connotation behind them anyway, deadbeats and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Make your effort. Keep making your effort. If she's saying that she don't want to take this, cash app it. I don't care what it is. Cash app it. Send it. You're making an effort, because I know somebody right now that's going through a situation with co-parenting, and all of this stuff came back to bite them because they decided to wait 4 or 5 months, and the judge was like, "Oh, well, you got 4 or 5 months of back pay that you haven't been paying."
That's what I'm saying, man.
When he should have just went on and did it, but you're just sitting back, just not doing it for what reason?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, like communication is definitely key.
Everything.
It's the main thing, and learning how to just get it out and let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to get the last word all the time. As a young buck, you don't got to get the last word. If they want to say that, okay, I understand. You know what? And that's just how I am as anything. Like, not even talking about kids. Like, if somebody got to say something to me, all right, cool, you got that. I can't waste that energy.
Right.
I can't waste it. So
Okay, so real quick, I got a scenario, and I just want to hear, how each of you would handle the situation. So let's say, you have a child who has picked up a bad habit. Maybe let's say they're like really into cursing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it light. Something that's they've like gotten into trouble at school. They're cursing, but you're like co-parenting, so you're trying to figure out, okay, so man, am I saying something when I'm around them, or are they picking it up from them, or their family or something like that? As man, like how do you? Okay, so
what's the age? How old are they?
Expertise in that, and I want to start with you, Wes.
He said, "What's the age you talk? Just any age?"
I'm gonna say ages. I'm not gonna go middle school or whatever because they already cursing. So I'm gonna go probably like 10 years. Hey man, look here, dude. I've worked in school. I know how to
got you.
Man, look, I'm 6, 7. I'll be like, man, bro. I'm like, how you know how to rig dice, but you can't spell
there you go.
triangle. You can't spell triangle, but you can rig these. Okay. Anyway, all right. So Wes, so we're talking maybe like 10, maybe 11-year-old.
Me personally, I'm real direct. So I gotta me and the mom's gonna have a talk, and then I need to have a talk with everybody else that my child is around. That's how I move. You feel what I'm saying? Because especially being in 2 different households and stuff like that, I'm just the kind of person where I keep it a buck. Like, I ain't saying, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying that I run everything when it comes to my kids, but my kids are a certain way. Like, when I take my daughter to school, even though she's 3, she got a little stuff. Matter of fact, she got in trouble today because I don't know who she picked it up from. Might be a sister or a little cousin, but she do the, And so, yeah. And so I know sometimes we be playing in the house because she's animated, so she be acting and stuff like that. But today, right before I came in, they was like, they told her to do something, and she was like, "No, I'm good." And so, and so when she saw me come through the door, they literally pointed like, "They go your daddy." She just started crying because you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, like, I don't play now. We gotta get to the bottom of it, and I'm gonna have a talk with, moms and whoever else, but I'm gonna have a talk with my kids too. Now I ain't gonna, cause I mean, she a child, she learning, but my daughter, she know when I tell you no, we don't move like that here. Cause at the end of the day, you a representation of me when you out here. So I definitely ain't gonna have nobody out here thinking that that's just acceptable in my household. But in the same token, with that age, I have to be kind of gentle because she's learning. Now, if you saying 8 or 9, nah, little nigga, you already know. If I say, you know what I'm saying, like, my son know that. Like, we actually talked about this on the last episode, didn't we? The whole cousin thing. We did just talk about it. It was so funny you just coming up with the stuff that we just talked about.
I mean, I'm just saying though, because it happens, man.
No, it does. And that's the thing, like I said, man, I think it's like a learning thing. Like, I'm not just off the rip, just slapping the taste out your mouth or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? For real, like, it's because I gotta give you the benefit of the doubt. I gotta give you conversation. You feel what I'm saying? Now, if you just going up and disobey me, you just wilding out in school saying F you, then when you gotta come see me,
you already know what it is, right?
It's gonna be that, Yeah.
Right.
I can shut the cussing down easily.
All right,
but that'd be me, man. I really would talk though. You know what I'm saying? That I've seen that actually works. You know what I'm saying? But in the same token, I'm not up for explaining myself 24/7. So I'm gonna give you a couple, maybe 3 after that.
That's it.
It's you and me. Yeah.
All right, man. Nah, hey, brother, I hear you. Look, man, I done told you. Okay. All right, Eric, come on, man. Talk to me. How you handle a situation like that?
I'm just talking. I'm going straight to my child first. So let's just say they randomly starting attitudes and all that stuff, like problems at school. So we gotta sit back and think most of that stuff results from something at home. So for me, I make mine talk. I do it with my boys. I do it with my 10, 11-year-old boy. I do it with my 16-year-old son. We're gonna talk. Something going on, talk. Just like when they go and shut down in their room and sit in their room all damn day. Like, bro, we don't do that. Come out here, man. Or I go in there and talk. We got to find out what's what. Is something going on? Something wrong? We gotta pay attention as parents, and we gotta notice the little small adjustments that they make, because it's definitely a process. It don't just happen like that. It's a process. So it's something that's going on in their heads, man. That we as parents, we just gotta, I ain't gonna say humble ourselves enough, but we gotta lower ourselves enough, man, to be able to talk to them. They got voices too. I know people that, oh man, they kids, man. Fuck that, man. Listen, man. Listen to them goddamn kids, man. Yep. They telling you some real shit, bro.
Yep, man.
You gotta listen.
And that's what it is. Come on. All right. Come on, Dorian. Come on, brother.
All right. I think a lot of it can come from exposure, whatever they're exposed to. I think that being a parent, you know, letting the child know that there are consequences for actions. I don't think kids realize, or they take it for granted, that there are consequences for actions. Growing up, I knew not to even thinking about doing it because I didn't want to deal with what my mom or my dad was gonna bring. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we're dealing with a different generation, and yeah, we gotta make a curve in some things as parents. But at the end of the day, I gotta pull you up. I gotta see where you are mentally. I gotta see what you've been doing. Because if you are paying attention to your kids, you will notice that change gradually starting to happen. Something will happen like that overnight. You know what I'm saying? I've been in situations where I've spoken to the kids hours during the night. Mom, I don't need you in here, Mom. Let me talk to these kids right now. And I'm talking, giving lectures. You know what I'm saying? Like, let y'all know what y'all gonna see later. You know, it might not come from your immediate circle, but who you surround yourself with, that stuff pours over. It's a cancer. Just like how they say, if you surround yourself with good people, good things happen to you. That same thing happened with on the other end of it. So with that little negative stuff coming around, you know, it could be just them seeing it from a friend that they've been with all day. They start doing certain things and they want to rub off on them, like, no, I'm gonna start doing that too, and it just slips out. So when they see daddy, they start crying. Oh, I know I messed up. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the kids, they got this no snitching rule, so they're not gonna say, well, little Billy was doing it, so I started. They're not gonna say that. They'd rather keep their lip dig up in them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know I'm not raising my kid like this. Where's it coming from? Right. But I'm not dumb. I know we're not showing this. It's coming from somewhere else. So that's when you gotta go all the way around the deep end and be like, okay, going back to square one. If you do this, every action has a reaction. And that's just how the world is. So no matter how minute it may sound to them or how boring it may sound to them, if I gotta drill this to you every night, we're gonna talk about this every night.
And really, you know, I'm just gonna keep it real, because it's like sometimes you sort of walk the fine line in being the helicopter parent that always, man, look here, I gotta keep an eye on you 24/7, 24/7, 24/7. I gotta see what you're doing, man. Okay, you going over that, man? You know what? If you go on that block, no, go on this block. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be that person, right? And, I mean, man, Eric, like you said, man, it's about that peace. You want to bring that peace. You know, and you want the peace on both sides. You want it from the child, and you want it from the parent, and you want it from the other, side, the other parent side of the house as well. So, you know, like, hey man, these are just like nuggets, man, nuggets. Like, look, fellas, I don't know if y'all been like listening, but man, it's been the men's auxiliary board going on, for these past like 50 minutes or so. But I just want to ask, man, Wes, like, where can people listen to the podcast?
So you can actually go on YouTube. You go to YouTube, AYME podcast. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the second episode will drop this Sunday. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the first episode is up, man. It's definitely dope. You know, myself, E, Dorian, Wade the Barber. Great episode. Follow us on Instagram at AYME Podcast, AYME Podcast. You know, yeah, man. And we pushing, we moving, man. We got a lot. We got a lot getting ready to come with this. You know what I'm saying? It's just dope, man. I'm happy with this right now. What we're doing.
I love it, man. Look. Man, look, brothers, I just want to tell y'all, man, look, I like what you got going on because, as I said, it's real talk, you know, and I know I pride myself on informational content, but ladies and gentlemen, this is also informational content because you're getting perspective from people who are like you and myself, and you don't have to like have a degree on the wall and listen to certain words that you're gonna Google later on and probably like hashtag, and they'll probably be Google for a damn week. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta do all that. You know, you can get your real talk, and I mean, man, listen to it, process it, man, act on it.
Yes. That's all you gotta do, man. And it's, I think the other dope thing with the podcast is that we shoot a women's episode once a month too, so we bring the women on. So you get the man's perspective, but then you also get the women's perspective because they putting us on to some stuff that we might be like, oh shoot, okay, I ain't think about it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's definitely just a situation where it helps people have uncomfortable conversations to heal from uncomfortable conversations that they didn't want to deal with before. Yeah. You feel what I mean?
Right.
And so, yeah.
How else are we gonna learn if we don't have those uncomfortable conversations? If everything's going so smooth, then I mean, does anything really change? No.
Right. Man, listen, man.
I mean, I'm just
drinking my cranberry juice.
You know,
me too. I was drinking mine too.
Okay, man. Well, you know,
cranberry juice.
I have this Ice Mountain. They ain't paying me, but you know, I just got this Ice Mountain over here. You know what I'm saying? They ain't paying me for the sponsorship, but that's okay though. That's all right. But anyway, man, fellas. Okay, so I come to my last question, and I would really like to hear it. Wes, you've answered this question before, but I'm gonna ask you again. But this time, we gonna switch it up. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go with Eric. Okay, but now normally my question is, what is the one word that best describes you and why? But we gonna remix it.
Okay.
Eric, what is the one word that best describes your experience and expertise towards this podcast?
Oh man.
The one word. I thought you was about to ask me the other question. I was going to go with connections. The best word that describes me with this podcast here is growth. I'm gonna say growth. I'm gonna say growth.
Okay. Any reason why?
The reason why is because I forgot I think it was Dorian who said it on episode 1 when it came to meeting or sitting down or talking to the child's, let's just say, stepdad for now. Bro, I never in a million years would I have ever thought to do some shit like that. Ever. and that's I think that's a pride man thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the growth that I've gotten from the AYME podcast myself, man, as being a co-host and just hearing all the different stories and then going through what I go through, you know how anxious I am right now and to meet the guy that's, you know what I'm saying, around my daughter, bro.
That's dope.
And I think that's a big step for me, but I think that's a big step that all men need to lean towards taking, for sure. Because we gotta see who's around our children, man, at the end of the day. And it's okay to have another dude around your kids, bro.
Yeah.
Stop all that tough guy shit, man.
All right, hey.
I love that.
Okay, man.
I love that.
Dorian? See, Wes, you thought it was a man. No. Dorian, come on. Dorian, man. Come on, bro. Like, I know you can't clean up, but man, come on, man. You know, I gotta put you out here now.
All right. So the one word that describes me in this adventure, let me see. Observer. I'm the observer. I'm very observant.
Mhm.
Because all I can do is sit back, look, and pitch things here and there, and just be cautious of certain things. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be on my P's and Q's. I gotta be very, very observant of everybody in the whole situation. And I'm non-biased. Maybe that's what it could be. Because, even though I'm a man, even though I'm playing the father role, I still gotta look at everything from every perspective and not be so quick to jump on one or the other side. Because I'm like, we could have a whole episode about being the third party, for real. But I've shared with them some stuff, man. Like, yeah, that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
So I'm the observer, and I still have to facilitate at times. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Call me the multi-hyphenate, bro. I'm the multi-hyphenate.
He has variants. I'm gonna go Marvel with y'all right now. He has variants of them. There's like all kinds of variants of them. I don't know which variant it is.
Right.
Hopefully this is their original. But
Man.
I don't know. But no, I'm just.
But gotta remain humble in all of it, though. Gotta remain humble in all of it. So.
Wes,
Do you really? So listen, right? So I saw something yesterday, right? And I forgot who it was, but it was on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And it talked about when people say, but be humble. When you do something good and people are like, man, be humble. Be humble, why? For your insecurities?
Yeah. Like, it's,
I got you.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
humble,
Never
man.
mind. Then scratch that. Then. Yeah. Right.
There you go.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
Come on, Wes.
That out.
Come on, Wes. Come on, bring us home, bro.
I think for me, man, I'm gonna say strong, and I say that because even though I don't mind talking about a lot of my experience and stuff like this, when it comes to this, it's a different kind of thing because, like I like when we discuss a lot of these different subjects on the podcast and stuff like that, I for real had like flashbacks because I remember like what it did to me mentally from both moms. You know what I'm saying? And even though in a better place and stuff like that, man, it takes me back to a place where it's been times after a few episodes where I come home, I ain't gonna front like, man, I just had to for real like cry it out and just be like, yo, I gotta get back, because it's like it was trauma. Like keeping it a buck, you know what I'm saying? It's been certain things that happened to me, so it's like I literally had to tell me like, you gotta be strong to keep doing this because there are men who are going through the same thing we're going through, and some dudes might not want to go to the therapist to get help. Some dudes might not want to talk to this, and I've been hit up so much from people from the clips we've dropped, from watching the episodes and the inbox messages that I've read over some of the stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, we can't stop doing it just because of the impact that it's having on, and just even hearing E speak, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I say strong because you got to be strong to deal with this. Like, it's not an easy thing. This is not just we just felt like doing a podcast, let's just go talk about some stuff. Like, nah, it's a lot of thought and effort put into what we're doing because we're literally talking about one thing: co-parenting, parenting, building us up to be better fathers, trying to help build females up to be better mothers, trying to help bridge the communication, all that. You feel what I'm saying? So that's not something that's light. That's not something that's easy. That's not something that you can just put down. You feel what I mean? Like, I think about this joke literally every day since we shot the first episode back in November. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like when you think about things like this and you get the inbox messages you get and you still have to yourself deal with your own situation, it could be a lot on you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm like, for me, man, I'm like, I've been strong enough to deal with it, still deal. And it's all great, you know what I'm saying? Not saying in a negative way, but it's like you gotta be built for it tough, especially when you're the one leading it. And because they're like, yo, like Ian Doran, they're helping this joint like big time. But in the same token, I still got to make sure I have the vision for it. I still got to make sure what we're doing is sticking and all this in the midst of the kids and the shows and all that. So that I think that would be my thing for me, strong.
Well, let me just say, brothers, and unfortunately we are out of time, but
yeah,
I would say that, man, I appreciate every last one of you stepping onto this platform tonight and giving us your perspective, as a Black man, as a father, as a person, man, as a father. I don't care what type of role you feel, okay, biological or not, as a father, man, you're playing that role, okay? So, man, that's the role you're like nurturing, you're like getting into, the youth and all, and you're just trying to evolve, grow, be a better person, co-parent, man, just make life great. So hats off to all of y'all, man. And look, ladies and gentlemen, AYME, AYME. Are you mature enough? Okay, man, check it out. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Follow me, all social media platforms, Word with Ty Brownlow, or you can just go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Y'all gonna get this gospel. Other great interviews as well. We out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.